Hello, my name is Jessica Adams. I'm a graduate student at the University of West Alabama Online. I'm going to be presenting my signature project, Stage 2. My focus is going to be on the need for math intervention. So we start off by talking about the identified problem and purpose. So as you'll see on the screen, the identified problem is that students struggle with mathematics, but they are not provided with adequate math intervention. So I will be reading from my notes about the identified problem. Many students struggle in mathematics and do not receive the interventions they need to be successful. Students are not given the intervention opportunities they need to help them increase their test scores on programs such as iReady and ACAPS testing. Within the past few years, Alabama has been highly focused on reading due to the Alabama Literacy Act. Math has been pushed aside for quite some time. The state scores on ACAP and Central Elementary School's fall math diagnostic results reflect this math neglection. This is a major concern, especially with the Alabama Numeracy Act coming into play next school year. At Central Elementary, the diagnostic results were higher in reading than math across every grade level. The ACAP test results from last year showed a great need for math intervention statewide. According to the Public Affairs Research Council of Alabama, the ACAP test results showed most students under 30% proficient in math, while in reading, all students performed at a proficiency level of 43% or higher. This shows that intervention works. All students who perform below level on reading testing today receive intervention, but the same is not true for mathematics. This is a major issue in the state of Alabama. The lack of math interventions at Central Elementary School for math warranted the need to complete this study for me. The study consists of a small group intervention to help assist students with math achievement who were below grade level according to their iReady diagnostic results. Okay, and then the purpose of this was that math intervention would close the gaps in math on iReady and on ACAP. So the statement of research problem was that students easily receive reading interventions, while math interventions are overlooked and not supported as effectively. The problem the study addresses is the lack of mathematics intervention. The state of Alabama has been fully focused on reading, while the Alabama Literacy Act for several years, that math student achievement has been taking a major decline. Students' test scores on iReady and ACAP are drastically lower in math than in reading. For several years, there have been a great decline in mathematics and test scores of the researcher students, the research being myself. The researchers links this to a huge focus on reading intervention. Central Elementary School alone has 4 reading intervention programs, while no math programs are available outside of iReady. The purpose of this study was to evaluate the impact a mathematics literacy intervention program would have on student achievement and higher math literacy, such as tests as the ACAP. Okay. Sorry. And then it says that the study is conducted to conclude that math interventions will close the gaps in math on iReady and ACAP at Central Elementary School. I found that many literatures provided the best intervention practices. The intervention in this story is a gradual release in a small group setting. A pre-test and a post-test, along with a growth monitoring check, is given to the intervention group to monitor student progress. The instrumentation and interventions to be used were chosen to best benefit the students and to increase the students' math achievement. So now we're going to talk about the original data that I pulled to show that there was a great need for math intervention. Okay, so what we're looking at here, and you can always pause and screenshot if you need to zoom in. That is totally okay, or you can zoom in on your computer if you need to. But the data here is talking about the math deficiency at Central Elementary School and the state of Alabama on the next slide. This data shows great concern for the area of math, while reading seems to be okay. This is because there has been such a great focus on reading, and in more depth and personalized reading instruction has been given to students, while math has only been given in Tier 1 instruction. The data from iReady shows that math diagnostic results from Central Elementary School, and this data was taken from August of 2022. There are currently no math intervention programs in place other than iReady itself. In reading, there are currently 5 intervention programs available to CES. The neglection of math school and statewide is an alarming concern. These graphs show the poor performance in mathematics compared to reading and language arts statewide. I am proposing that there needs to be math literacy programs provided immediately in all school systems across Alabama, including CES. Just as Alabama has the Alabama Literacy Act, there needs to be a focus on math to improve student achievement. Data shows that there is a deficiency in math. The researcher, which is I, believes that math intervention programs and a numeracy act that we're getting next year will improve the math scores across Alabama. And so this slide is just showing that there is so much greater scores in language arts and reading than in math. If you'll look at the ACAP, here's the grades 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 for math compared to the same grade levels for English language arts. And if you look over here, it's just crazy. You'll see all this red for math, and then it's okay for reading. So it's definitely a no-brainer that we need math intervention. Okay, so the background investigation that I did was at Central Elementary School, of course, where I worked. And then we have approximately 400 students enrolled K through 6. But for this actual study of mine, the accessible population was 4th grade students, 17 students being in my class. Okay, and so the action plan was sampling. It was a purposive sample. Sorry, I got tongue-tied there. Okay, so this is because I chose the students. They weren't chosen for me. The participants that were chosen were based on their iReady score that put them at a high risk. The students were put all together in one group. The research designed and selected was a mixed method of quantitative and qualitative action research. Quantitative data was used more heavily than the qualitative data. This design was selected to find an effective way to complete math interventions within the daily classroom structure. Data was collected before, during, and after the interventions to see if the improvements were being made. After looking at the math iReady data scores, the students for the small groups were selected. A pre-test was administered to guide the small group interventions. At the end of each week, an assessment was given to see how the students were understanding the standards being taught. At the end of the 4 weeks, a post-test is administered to see the progress made by each student. All students were taken a progress monitoring check to see if those in intervention showed growth than those not in an intervention group. So a sample group was formed with students based on their scores. The action plan instrumentation was reliability versus validity, and that was from the ACAP exam, iReady, a pre-test and post-test, and that the intervention teacher and myself would hold a state certification. So the ACAP exam and the Alabama state test that would be used to propose the research. iReady is a district test that measures each student and grade level on reading and math. These are both reliable sources of measurement. In addition, the intervention group would be given a pre-test and a post-test that will show validity. Each teacher will hold a state certification that administers all the assessment instruments in this research. All students participating in the intervention group will be given the same level of activity to improve the validity and reliability. Okay, and then the collaborative efforts was, of course, a school-wide iReady math program, and that all classrooms prepare and practice for the ACAP on that website, ACAP. Data meetings were held discussing any improvements or lack of improvement. Also, there was a plan to action meetings after each 4-week period. All right, action plan procedures. Okay, this is the timeline in which this study would take place. All 4th grade and all other grade levels will take the iReady diagnostic testing prior to any intervention. Research based on test results will place at risk and below grade level students into a small group for math intervention. The intervention pretest will be given to the small group for all at-risk students. The students are then to be taught the skills that were needed in the intervention based on the pretest and diagnostic results. After the intervention, the small group will be giving a post-test to measure improvement. All students, those in intervention and those not, will take the iReady progress monitoring check. The researcher will then be able to conclude if math intervention will close the gap of mathematics literacy deficiency. And then the ethical considerations for this study was, of course, confidentiality, because it does have student test scores involved. So you would need a parent consent in order to do this, which I had them have a form to say that it was okay to use it in the study. And then, of course, when discussing this for the particular study, no names were given. Student A, student B, and so forth. Okay, now we'll talk about the results of this study or this proposal. Okay, so in order to close the achievement gap, there needs to be an intervention program for math in every school, particularly Central Elementary School. These interventions need to focus on each individual student's learning needs. Math interventions need to be also addressing task engagement through motivational strategies. The intervention needs to be done in a small group setting where the instruction can be direct and individualized. Research highly suggested that effective math intervention follows the expectancy value theory. Research shows that if math intervention is performed correctly, there will be improvement in student performance and achievement. So the research data and the action plan shows that if math intervention is performed correctly, there will be improvement in student achievement. So like on iReady, there will be less red, which indicates below grade level and at risk, and there will be more green, which is on grade level or exceeding grade level. And so when I was doing this study, of course, I had some reflections. I chose this topic because of the upcoming Numeracy Act of Alabama, and because with the Literacy Act, math has been set to the side compared to reading, and we just need help in the area of math. Some things I would change is I would actually want to find an actual math intervention curriculum to be able to use in the study that will help fill in those learning gaps even more that have been lost. And I also would love to involve the whole school in this project, not just my 4th grade classroom. So I hope that you all enjoyed listening to this, and you can tell that Alabama has a high need of math intervention. Thank you for listening.